All right, what's going on, guys? It is Josh here, and I pissed off the internet a little bit. I saw this video. You cannot own property in America, and honestly, I I agreed with what the guy was saying. I really agree with some of what he's saying, and I understand where he's coming from. His other videos, not on this video. This video is just humorous to me, but his other videos, he likes to give cops a hard time. All about freedom of speech, standing up for rights, and not letting the government, have overarching power. And I agree with him on a lot of stuff. But this one just made me laugh, and I posted a comment on the video. Makes me laugh just because I didn't think it'd get this many replies. He was pretty much explaining that, hey, if you own a property, you don't ever own it because you have to pay property taxes. Even if you bought it cash, you still have to pay to the government. So if you have to pay to keep something, you always own it. So, as a comical joke, and again, you guys know what I do with real estate. I said I'm a real estate investor. You are right. You can't own it. Stop paying your taxes and sell it to me. I will take it off of your hands. That's fine. I'm totally okay with paying property taxes. And, I wanted to talk about this and address it because here are the responses I got. So I'll read some of the responses. They're really funny. Yes, you are a big part of low life reason many people are losing their homes and regular people get denied being able to purchase a good home at a great deal they could afford. Agenda 21's finest in helping force all people to become renters. Don't know your whole situation, but pretty sure you should have shame for taking part in rising homeless population of the hardworking backbone that made this country. Now, do I believe that rent is sky high? Yes. Do I believe that it's part and part because of investors? 100%. But I don't think I'm necessarily a part of the problem. There's bigger banks who are buying things. There's banks who are sitting on foreclosed properties from how long ago, reduced, 8, 10 years ago, holding inventory. And this isn't Agenda 21. I'm not trying to kill off the world population. I'm not trying to do it, anything. And guess what? If somebody wanted a renter wanted to do a lease to own with me and they'd pay me on it, yeah, I'm going to charge interest. But, we could find a way around it. But at the same time, I also teach people how to go get houses for 2% down, 1% down, and make it. And some people they need to rent. Some people it makes more sense financially to rent than own. But I thought that was funny. I got called scum. The Jew spotted. That one made me laugh a lot. Trading fraternity, you're an idiot. Okay, fair enough. Wow, I don't give a shit. Wow, I don't give a shit about human rights or dignity. Just allow me to make more money. Trading fraternity, you're just part of the problem. I don't think so. Because I think you guys are misinterpreting that. Whereas somebody tells me, again, this guy, John, he's in his right mind. I would agree if this was somebody who's like, yeah, I'm 70 years old. I'm living off Social Security. I can't afford my taxes. The government's going to take away my home. I would help that person out. And I have before in an exact situation like that. But somebody who's saying that they shouldn't pay taxes, but they want to enjoy the freedoms of everything that the taxes provide. They want to enjoy a police force, state roads, and they want to claim they don't own the property, yet they have 100% exploitation rights of the property. They could build on it. They could get water rights. They could get air rights. They could get oil rights. They could rent it out. I think I already said that. They could sell it. They could make money, and the government's not going to say, "Oh, you bought it for 20,000 and sold it for 2 million. Pay me." No, they're actually, you could even 1031 exchange and do that. And again, that's one thing too. Is do you blame someone for being educated or uneducated? Because if you're going to say that taxes, Donald Trump doesn't pay any taxes, well, as much, there's ways to, if you utilize your money and your profits and that, you could avoid paying your taxes. So what I mean by avoid paying that is putting it into other productive areas where the government would approve of that. So again, I don't think this isn't about human rights if somebody is in their right mind, comfortable, and is just literally complaining about paying property taxes, 1% of their property value every year, and saying that they don't own it, because that's, it's kind of foolish in my opinion. Fuck you, thief, you fucking rat. I love these. If this is the old days, they would chop your head off. I don't think they would. I think I would actually be in the top, uh, you know, percentage of people, of landowners who can vote, and I would chop your fucking head off. No, I'm kidding. But Again, hopefully you guys see. I have a sense of humor with this, and I think this is a good learning opportunity. This guy. Let's count the days before he's shooting up a supermarket in hopeless psychosis. So, again, I thought that one was interesting because I guess you're implying that I'm just going to get really rich and go crazy from having to deal with money in this, and I don't really think that's the case, except for the guy who shot up Vegas. Most shooters are actually, I don't think they're landowners and they're happy in that sense, but and there's a lot of pride that comes from owning land. So I think, you'd be surprised owning your own house and what it means and being able to exploit the land and make a profit off it. You'll be good. Hey, someone call me a boss. I love it. Judah and Don't well, that went over well. Piece of shit. He's scum for selling property. Shout out Thomas Howell there. That's exactly like again. This is just it's better if I bought. Some guy wants to fight the government and say I'm not going to pay my property taxes. Let that property go to shit. Not care for it. Not care about that. I'm going to buy that property and guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to fix it up. I'm going to make it look nice and I'm going to make it appealable to the community. Kids aren't going to, homeless people aren't going to overtake a property. You're not going to have people coming in, destroying it, kids stepping on glass and heroin needles. And at the end of the day, it's going to help my neighbors become more wealthy so that their property values all go up. And that's, let's go back to this. Can you ever really own a property in America? 1,000% yes. The government can't take it from you without paying. If you refuse to pay, I love what he says in this video. He says that if you don't pay, the government will resort to violence. No, man, they just send you fucking letters and then they'll auction your house off after you've shown a systematic, 7 years of not paying it. And even after 6, 7 years, you can say, okay, I'll pay a payment plan and do it. But if you look at how inflation works in property, there's very rare instances where your property taxes will ever amount to more than the value of the home. Usually, you're going to make about 100% more on your property in that time period if you didn't pay taxes. So it's, again, I think there's just so many things that people miss on this. And you really can own property, and really ownership happens in terms of, again, can you use the land however you want? And especially if it's land itself. And are you the one who's entitled to all the rights of the property, which you are? And, I don't see why I see why some people could say, yeah, it's the government, this and that, but taxes are, a necessary evil. Obviously, excess taxation isn't good, but, to a degree, don't, go live in the fucking mountains then if you don't want to pay your taxes. Don't live in a society where people are all contributing to it and you feel that it's unfair because you have to do what everybody else has to do. And again, the American Revolution started because of too high of taxes, and that's because it was excessive at that point. I don't think paying 1% of property, which in a market is always, increasing at 6 to 10 to 15% in some areas every year, I don't think that's excessive. And I still think it gives you an opportunity to become wealthy off of your property. And, that's just the fee you have to pay with it. And it goes to a lot of stuff. So I'll leave it at that. You can own property. And, if you believe that you can't, let's definitely talk about it. And, I don't think another example I had was just because you own a car and are required to have auto insurance and have to pay to own that asset, does that mean you don't own the car? You do. You could sell it, you could use it, stuff like that. But let's debate about this. But hopefully you guys can see. It's a funny video if you guys want to watch it. Go upvote my comment on there. I honestly didn't think it'd get this many likes on it, and it's just making me laugh, the reactions from people. So love you guys. Stay in school. Just make sure you subscribe.